how it feels to chew 5 gum. Five gum. Stimulate your senses.
What's up, nerds and ne'er-do-wells, and welcome to Iron Press, the hopefully short video series that I will be using to talk about games, films, and other pieces of media that have recently come out that I don't have time to write a full, giant, mega review on, for things like Groundhog Day VR, and Invisible Hours, and many of the other VR games I've covered, and maybe other games in the future. These will just be hopefully short videos in which I can more do off-the-cuff stuff or write small scripts for, so I can just talk about my main grievances for games. And today, I thought I'd be talking about the game that everybody seems to hate me for, and that's Marvel's Avengers. Where do I begin? I guess we can start with gameplay. The gameplay's fine, but this gameplay becomes more boring the more you play it, both in single player and multiplayer. It gets pretty mind-numbing. You're just fighting waves upon waves of enemies for minutes on end. Also, the characters feel very cookie-cutter in that it kind of makes it feel less interesting and less enjoyable to play the characters. Thor plays almost exactly like Captain America, outside of the fact that Thor can fly, and that's it. In characters like Hulk, he just feels restricted and not really that fun to play. Most characters do that until you unlock the whole skill tree, which just kind of begs the question why the characters were so restricted to begin with. Why not give them their abilities to start with instead of just them being unlockable? And even then, their abilities don't really have any tactical advantages since the combat doesn't really allow for that. They just look cool and they add to the button mashy nature of the game, so there's no real incentive to unlock them, all outside of the completion status. A fellow mutual and YouTuber, TroyBoyle17, made a video on how samey it all is. Go check it out! And, oh yeah, these RPG elements. The RPG elements are so out of place here. This feels like something they tacked on just to make the game seem like it has more to offer than it really has. The pieces don't really even do anything to your character, and what it does do is so annoying to track. Like, why do I have to pay attention to my level and my power? Why not just my level? Like, the higher up I am, the more health and firepower I have. Collecting materials to level up your gear just feels off-putting. My buddy Godzilla Mendoza asked me to explain this all for his review, and honestly just gave up halfway through and was stuck at level 12 for most of our playtime. He also had the same reaction when I tried to explain the microtransactions. Ugh, God, I hate the microtransactions. Some of these skins aren't even worth the money at all. Like, why do I want Kamala with a plain t-shirt? Or a reskin of a suit that's already in the market? The prices are atrocious. $14 should not be the price for a skin. And by the way, yes, I bought some of these so I could see what I can get. And only because people gave me shit on Twitter for criticizing it without trying it. And you honestly get jack shit with it. I paid $70 and I got one Cap skin, one Iron Man skin, and a bit of the Hulk Battle Pass up until Classic Hulk, which was a total about 7 skins. That is not okay, especially for some skins that are just recolored. Why not make it an Injustice 2 thing, where the colors are presets you can choose from? Unlike Injustice, it's free and not irritatingly random. But wait, they can't do that. They gotta make each suit $14, but only allow you to buy a little bit over and not the exact amount, forcing you to pay even more to be even. Boy, I haven't heard something like this before. And you know what? Fallout 76 has better prices in this game. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. Speaking of not saying something, story. The story here is honestly so safe and so bland. MODOK here is probably one of the most generic choices for a villain, and it's not even funny. I've seen him in so many things, cartoons, specials. It kind of just makes it feel redundant for him to be here and be the big bad, and then we act like we've never seen him before. The story itself doesn't really go out there or try to be different. If a story can be completed in just 8 hours, there's just something wrong in my opinion. People have said it's okay because there's side content and that there's gonna be free stuff. But the fact some of this is side stuff ruins the story drastically. We don't get any explanations for things like how Kamala adopted the Miss Marvel persona, or how she got the lightning bolt design, which is apparently explained in her missions. Also, the promise of something else doesn't detract from the fact that the story itself is pretty lazy. Just listen to this side stuff and see for yourself.
I want to take this moment to personally apologize to the American people. The past is written. I know I can never erase what happened. But I do hope my actions today will help prevent a tragedy like this from ever happening again. It is my intention to abide by the ruling of this committee, and I will take the necessary steps to ensure the dissolution of our organization. Each of us had a part to play in the events of A-Day. Each of us has blood on our hands. I just hope someday the world can forgive us. Thank you.
Like, wouldn't this have been awesome if it was a cutscene? Maybe have the introduction last a bit longer and set up the distrust of the Avengers. Like, after Cap's death, we see them actually confront and fight one another until they all split. That would have been so interesting. Why didn't we get that? Don't get me wrong, there are some genuine moments. Like this scene. But it's so scarce, I wonder why it's so minimal. Even characters like Abomination are just dropped. Oh yeah, now I know why. Because it's a multiplayer game with shitty level design. Speaking of which, level design. The level design is absolute garbage. There is so much stuff you can get in such an open space, it is so overwhelming. And the stuff itself is just extremely underwhelming. Not only that, these levels are so bland and repetitive, they don't even stand out. They all kind of just mesh. Each level is either snow, trees, or city, with a generic aim-based side. Not only that, the harm room is so uncreative, it hurts. It's just light blue. Like, come on, guys, you guys can be more creative than that. This is a simulation, so go crazy. Take us to the Savage Land, maybe Avengers Tower. Just try something. Just try something so I can look at something that is visually pleasing while I die for the millionth time because your game is so hard and unbalanced even on easy mode. I'm just glad in the multiplayer you can be revived infinitely. In the single player, it's only twice. Speaking of multiplayer. The multiplayer is something that really has me thinking. You see, I played the multiplayer with 3 cool-ass dudes. Godzilla Mendoza, Diego Rivera, and Josh from Panels of Pixels. Each of them are making their own video on this game. Go check them out. Links in the description. At first it was fun, but by every hour we started noticing things and disliking the game more and more. Ultimately leading on that the multiplayer is basically worthless. Same repetitive content, same repeating mission types, etc. There were a few things that were different, and that was... oh dear lord. Yep, during our gameplay we found thousands and thousands of glitches. And to be honest, it kind of speaks of the passion the devs probably had. And that's none. This game is so bland and so repetitive, the story ain't that great, and shows little love for the Marvel Universe as a whole. And just gets boring after a while. It has something great in there, but it's so bogged down by its live service and RPG elements. It just ruins everything. But hey, it's not like its fans will take my opinions here seriously. Those guys make the Spidey Squad look overly critical. And you know, despite of all this, I still don't know how to feel about this game. I mean, seriously. I enjoy playing it with my friends. I do think that some of the suits look really great. There are a lot of great moments in the story, but at the same time, there's all these microtransactions and live service stuff that's honestly just disgusting. But also, I'm kind of just glad this game finally exists. Marvel's Avengers just exists.